Passengers, this is not a shoe. This is disorder. This is size 10 chaos.
Tired of being stuck on 76, 95, 476, 222. You get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
Let's get to the police blotter section of the show. After we ended last week, police ID a carjacking suspect who led Philadelphia officers on a chase into South Jersey. And this comes to us from 6ABC. 26-year-old Shamika Brown Palmer of Philadelphia is accused of carjacking and shooting a driver around 7 p.m. Monday in West Philadelphia. She's currently being held in Camden County Jail on drugs, weapons, and eluding the police. A detective said an hour before the carjacking and 5 blocks away, the suspect reportedly tried to break into another car, but was unsuccessful. Said Small, the owner of the vehicle that was broken into, confronted this female, and that's when the female fled on foot. The owner chased the female, and that's when Brown turned around and let off 5 shots at her. Wow. She didn't hit her, but still. Wow. I'm sorry, but this woman during Women's History Month, I mean, she's a pioneer. She broke the glass ceiling on carjackings. You men no longer have this on lock to yourselves. No. Shamika Brown Taylor is coming in here, baby, breaking into this game. Show you what's what.
We must all of us on this train of life remain in our allotted station.
It's time for the D train with Darren DeVoue,
the divine keeper of the sacred engine.
Hello, this is Governor Ed Rendell. When I want the best talk radio, I just hop on the D train, take it all the way down to the sports
complex. Yes, good afternoon. Yes, and good morning. Good morning, and welcome. Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Welcome again. Good morning. Happy Easter, hippity hoppity, and all of that. Happy Easter. I'm joined. You're on the D train with Darren DeVoue, as always. Joined behind the glass by the human Swiss Army knife, Uncle P, and
yo, bro.
Yo, today he's joined by the most adorable assistant engineer I've ever seen. His little baby daughter, Jordan.
She's slobbering on everything.
As always, the D Train is brought to you in part by Aunt B's Country Kitchen. At Aunt B's Country Kitchen, located at 2300 West 4th Street in Chester, as you locals know it, the marketplace. They pride themselves on providing savory comfort food, casual dining, and a hospitable experience that you will never forget. Takeout or have an event catered, either way, when you dine at Aunt B's Country Kitchen, you will not be disappointed. Go to auntbscountrykitchen.com to check out their menu and order, or call 484-474-6779. And when you pick it up, tell them you rode the D train there. Aunt B's Country Kitchen for food that you'll love. P, real quick horror story for me related to last week. I mentioned that after we were done, I was going to go get me a little Peabody and feel like a big man. Don't you know Aunt B's was closed?
Right. So you went all the way down there and it was closed.
No, I made the call. But,
you made the call?
Yeah. Again, 484-474-6779. I made that call. And so yesterday, I'm thinking, you know what? Today's the day to get a little Peabody, because I figured today was Easter. I know she's going to be closed. Sure enough, I called. They said they didn't have the ingredients for the little Peabody.
Wow.
So I had my little moment,
right?
And then I settled on the bacon, egg, and cheese on wheat, butter just right, delicious, with some side of home fries. But I recovered. But first world problems. What can I say?
Listen, you don't run into too many. I'm not gonna eat that again's down there, right?
Right.
So, I like her jam on everything.
Oh yes.
I put that. I call it crack. Like, nah, you got some of that crack. Stop calling it crack. I'm like, listen, that's addictive.
Yes, indeed. Oh, so getting into our first story, minutes after we got off air, And I said to P, I didn't even tell you what it was about, but I mentioned, I said, we got our first story. Minutes after we got off air, I get an email from HR department and the department that I work in. Again, this isn't my primary job. P has a primary job. P's primary occupation is Chester, Pennsylvania. And there you go. That's his,
Whatever's going on, right?
That's it. My primary job is delivering for Amazon. So I get a memo from I work for a DSP. Now what Amazon does is they contract these, they no longer do it. They contracted all their deliveries out to these DSPs, which is smart because they still maintain control while decreasing liability. So I work for this DSP, and we get a memo. Now, oh shoot, let me pull this up. I'm munching real quick. Oh, excuse me. Memo starts, hello. This evening, an associate discovered human feces in an Amazon bag that was returned to station by a driver. This is the second sentence. This is the third occasion in the last 2 months when bags have been returned to the station with poop inside. You got to give it to them. They didn't bury the lead right there. We coming in guns hot, letting you know what's what. My thing with the returning the bags, like, why would you return it? At that point, you know, that gets lost in the street. I mean, I don't know, but it continues. We understand that delivery associates may have emergencies while on the road, especially during COVID. Bags with poops inside. Second paragraph begins, we've noticed an uptick recently of all kinds of unsanitary garbage being left inside bags, used glove, masks, and bottles of urine. Yeah, I hate when I come into the van and then you see that bottle of urine sitting there. You're like, oh man, they didn't clean it up. And not for nothing, they need to drink a lot more water, whoever it was. But yeah, you know what? But though this is a byproduct of, you know, the standards that you had to do with delivering at the rate you do, with the number of packages you do over the course of hours that you do. And they said, man, I was a sweet, you know, I'm a little sucker when that first day of training. I'm that cat that comes in always to be always the new employee, ready to do right. And so they had said that time is built into your breaks for you to have an hour. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, this sounds like awesome. Until you find out, like, you know, if you take a break, like I've seen the reports on last night, tonight with John Oliver and stuff where warehouse employees speak of if they have to take a break, then eventually a manager comes to them like, yeah, you're falling behind. And yeah, it counts on the road too. So that's why you have a lot of this kind of thing happening.
So what you're saying is you don't get breaks? You're
supposed to, but in effect, the policy, they say it,
okay,
which is
so
pretty much a legal disclaimer.
Explain the policy to me on breaks. Like,
you get two 15-minute breaks and 1.5 hour break.
That's an hour break.
Right.
So in between you delivering packages, let's say you have 47 packages, right? I know that's a light number. Let's just say you have 47 packages and they have to be all delivered, right? If you come back with 3 or 4 packages and you didn't deliver them in your 8 hours, what happens?
They mark it down, and there you go. You have to give the reason they want to spike.
I took a break.
Oh no.
No, I'm saying like legally you can't not take a break.
Right.
So why can't you take a break? Right. you can't legally tell me as an employee of your company that you care about me and I can't take a proper hour break.
Exactly.
There's no way possible. So, you know, for me, I'll be the first one, you know, get me a lawyer.
Right.
Right. Because that's slavery, bro.
Which is an awesome segue into, because recently Amazon's been out in the news because here's Amazon's fearless leader, Jeff Bezos, showing just how much he cares about his employees. But Amazon began a Twitter war recently with Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, because those two have been taking them to task because the company's too big. They feel it needs to be broken up. And so Amazon on its official account started firing back, saying, you don't believe these stories of bottles and urine and stuff like that, do you? And to put in effect, antagonizing the two senators who I'm sure are going to be. You don't want Elizabeth Warren having a stiffy for you guys.
No, you really don't. You really don't.
That is a woman with a plan, and you don't want to be her plan.
You don't.
But they've been doing that recently. That's been in the news, and I'm sure there's going to be some kind of legislation. Like
you don't need legislation to run a business.
yeah.
You get an hour break. Now, if we have Amazon hours and regular people hours,
right,
then you're sitting there saying, all right, as an Amazon driver, I should get a 2-hour break. I should work a 10-hour shift and get paid for a 9-hour shift.
And
right?
I'm sorry.
There's my hour break. You pay me for an extra hour.
And when you think about it, a lot of guys skip breaks because they want to get done. And in effect, that's a free hour for the company. So you get a free hour for everybody that skips a break. That's a free hour for the company.
Absolutely. No, you're not paying me for my time. I will stop my truck and sit there and have a sandwich or go to a bathroom or go home. I will make sure my route is close to home. I'm going to take a poop. I'm not pooping in no bag.
No.
And peeing in no bottle. I'm not doing that.
And that's probably a no wiper too.
Right. No nothing. No. Oh man.
And that's like that always gets me to thinking, like, everybody that's always been wealthy, they've always had to. There's got to be a way to be wealthy without standing on others, right?
Show me. There's absolutely no. Listen, you could either be extremely wealthy and stand on others, or you could be broke and be stood on. Okay. There's only two options, right? So at some point, you have to stand on somebody. I preferably wouldn't like to stand on my own people. Right. Exactly. I would like to stand on someone else. So you got to find a product that they want, and you stand on them.
I feel like I'm like my man said in The Sopranos. There's enough trash for everybody out here, Phil. Moving on. MLB, or Major League Baseball, is taking a stand. They recently announced that Friday that they are moving the 2021 All-Star Game in response to the new Georgia law to restrict voting access. We've been talking about that a couple of times on the show recently. And MLB Commissioner Rod Manfred released this statement, said the league is finalizing a host city and details about the event will be released shortly. Statement continues, over the last week we've engaged in a thoughtful conversations with clubs, former managers, current players, the Players Association, the Players Alliance, among others, to listen to their views about moving the 2021 All-Star Game from Atlanta over Georgia voting law. Isn't that, well, you go ahead and take that stand, MLB. But my thing is, they now, they done stormed out the house and now they're asking the question, where we going? All right, so where we going to have it?
I mean, but you have so many teams in the area, you can have it anywhere. The season just starting. So I can see if they were doing this 2 weeks before the All-Star Game. Right. And there's so many cities that were like, oh, well, now with COVID, you don't know how many people you can actually get there. But, just sitting there saying that this is your city and they can have it in Cleveland, they can bring it here to Philly, right? They can bring it to different areas. It's close. You know what I mean?
The Atlanta Braves released a statement. They said they were deeply disappointed by the outcome. Quote, unquote, unfortunately, businesses, employees, and fans in Georgia are the victims of this decision.
Right. That voting situation is crazy because it's an all-Republican house or whatever they have, right? And they're sitting there saying, you can't vote after a certain amount of hours. You can't feed the people that's waiting in the line. The ballot, you got to have ID for all. Most of these things affect black voters. Oh, yeah. Right? None of these things are affecting white voters. Like, they're not saying you can't own a yacht and vote. You can't have a big ass house with a couple servants working for you. You feel me? Like, and vote. So it's sad.
Honestly,
It really is.
I hope that it has the adverse effect, and I hope that people say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to vote." And a lot of people that didn't vote before are going to vote now. You know what? I'm going to vote because you don't want me to.
Right. So I truly believe, you know, we always believe the whispers that pour through our community. Felons can't vote. Your vote don't count, and all that other stuff. And I'm like, bro, you can't tell people that,
Right?
Because it's going to come a time where your vote is really going to need to count, and ain't nobody going to vote because they don't feel like it counts.
There we go.
So, you know, vote when you can, vote when you can't, vote when they tell you, man, you tell me I can't vote, I'm definitely voting.
Right, exactly.
I remember I came home from jail and went right straight to, I'm voting. My mom said, no, you're a felon, you can't vote. I said, watch me vote. Watch me vote.
Nothing beats a trial but a fail.
I've been breaking laws. Watch me vote.
I vote worse. Next story. I'm sorry. Continuing now. The Players Alliance, consisting of more than 100 current and former players who are united in an effort to empower black communities, came out in support of MLB's decision. And continuing on with our next story, NFL owners approve enhanced schedule with 17 games per season now. And this comes to us from NFL.com. NFL owners voted in approval of the change Tuesday at the annual league meetings, which is taking place virtually due to the ongoing pandemic. This is said NFL commissioner, and you know what, nepotism always just, maybe because my father didn't put himself in a position where I could benefit from it, but nepotism always gets my goat, and especially with this guy, Roger Goodell. He makes $50 million a year. His dad was a senator. He got his job. He wrote a letter to the commissioner of the NFL at the time, Paul Tagliabue, and Roger Goodell became Paul Tagliabue's driver, and there you go. And when you watch how he conducts the job, you can tell, Daddy got me this job. It's for $50 million a year. I look at Roger Goodell and I always look at my father. Anyway, said Goodell, this is a monumental moment in NFL history. The CBA with the players and the recently completed media agreement provide the foundation for us to enhance the quality of the NFL experience. Now, see, stop right there. I think that by adding another game, you're watering down the product. Like, I think that
I mean, if you're going to do something, add 4 more games and completely get rid of the preseason. Right? Or have a couple weekend workouts or something like that with a couple exhibition games. But, you know, I truly believe that football season should be longer. Okay. I do believe that, right? I do believe you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport, and, you know, why can't you play 20 games?
And that's the thing.
Because they're not hitting the way they used to.
Right.
Right? They're simply tackling.
They're legislating
right?
the game different.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, they're not allowing you to hit the quarterback. Right? So, you know, I need 20 games out of you. And that's how the owners feel. Remember, they are owners.
And they'll be the first one walking up to an injured player. Right. We need you in there. You gotta.
Nah, but they're not even doing that anymore. Like now, players, man, I'm hurt. I'm not playing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You got a team. That will increase the number of players on a team.
Okay, now.
Number one, right? So that all of these things will begin to happen when you're greedy, when you reach your hand out and you start grabbing. Guess what? You got to leave more behind, right? So the players gonna want this. Yeah, they gonna want this. 20 games, no preseason, right?
Right.
We can have training. We can have training, but no real games until the season starts.
And there you go.
Right.
And this is what, the first time in 40. They've expanded before.
Right.
It used to be 10 games.
10 games, and it went to 12. You know what I mean?
14,
16, right? Well, why you go up one? Like, what's one game? That's that one game at the end of the season that no one really wants to play.
And there's a lot of teams that are going to be out of contention at that point.
Right.
Like, that's an extra game and another game for guys to get hurt with.
Ticket sales.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ticket sales.
And TV revenue.
TV revenue.
But I love how the NFL always says it's about player safety. But so therefore, we're going to add more games.
They don't give a rat's ass about player safety. We know that.
Oh, speaking about player safety, a player who hasn't been safe, boy, oh boy.
They've been killing him.
Deshaun Watson is having a bad stretch. 2 more lawsuits have been filed with graphic details against Deshaun Watson this week. They were made public both Wednesday and are consistent with previous allegations. Oh man,
This is what he doing to his masseuse.
This is like his move. You know, this is his UTEP two-step or something.
Yeah,
like.
come rub me down, baby.
Yeah.
Get this longhorn up in here.
And it's funny because I'm about to take some vacation time, right? Or I'm taking vacation time, and I'm like, because I've been working straight through for a while, almost a year. I'm like, I wanted to get a massage, and now this is like coming out, and I'm like, oh man.
You got to go to the right place. You got to go to the Chinese joint, the wishy-washy. You feel me?
For this kind of action,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. He just going to regular massage parlors.
You can't do, you're in the road.
And rolling over saying, here, rub this ball for me.
They don't cater to that kind of market, sir.
Hey, but listen, after the first woman came out, I mean, there's at least 13 accusations against this bull. And after a while, it's like, you did this.
This is
what you do.
You're trying to back Cosby numbers
Right.
now
You
at a certain
can't
point.
be doing this, bro. Like, you find one chick and you let her do it. Why you got 13 different chicks rubbing and tugging on you?
Or attempting to. What kills me is on Wednesday, his attorney said, who he's been hired to defend him, Wednesday released a statement from 18 massage therapists who said Watson was professional in their sessions with him.
With him?
With the lawsuits that were not, the lawyer said that he talked to 18 other massage therapists who said that Watson was completely professional with them.
With them, okay.
There
All
we
right.
go.
I was about to say with him, I would see why he would be.
The lawsuits were all filed by Tony. Here's the thing: the lawsuits were all filed by Tony Busby this month, and they have a drastic, differently story to tell. And one of the lawsuits made public Wednesday. Watson reached out to a yoga instructor looking for a massage therapist recommendations in Scottsdale, Arizona in July. When he asked if he would prefer a man or woman to give a massage, Watson said he wanted a woman and he needed to see their Instagram page before he booked a session.
Well, you don't want no crazy looking woman coming in the room. She got nose hairs and pimples all over her face. You need to look attractive. He's a multi-millionaire, bro.
But
you got to look attractive to rub his body down. Like I'm not playing this. I'm a national champion. Okay. I have millions of dollars. Like I can't just have anybody rub me down.
I think it's just, as long as she got some strong hands.
I don't even want her to have strong hands.
Get the job done. And that's the thing. Now, when I go to get my massage now, he's ruining it because the first thing I'm going to say is lower body because I'm always on my feet. She's going to be looking at me like, you ain't no millionaire, man. Don't be coming at me like that. He said during the massage, Washington instructed the therapist to work on his glutes and making unusual requests, including the masseuse alleges that she penetrate his anus with her fingers and massage him there.
What? No, he didn't.
I don't make this up, man. I just read the news.
That's the part that's on the complaint?
Yep.
He's
on paper, yeah, freak boy.
And all of them say the same thing?
I don't know if all of them, but this specific one, that these allegations came out.
How are you
Wednesday.
massaging the anus?
I would hope very gently.
I would hope so too, but maybe he don't want it gently. Come on, Sean.
When she told no, Watson aggressively demanded she do it, only to be rebuffed. At that point, Watson got up and ended the massage session. The other lawsuit involves a Houston massage therapist awaiting her license who Watson contacted through Snapchat. According to her, each session got progressively worse with him. The final session with him trying to move her hand near there, and he just, even without her even, I'm sorry, that was so graphic.
It was graphic, but go ahead.
But without her even applying that assistance, he ejaculated. So he was ready to go. Like, that's his thing. Like, yeah.
Well, if that's your thing.
Right. Go to a professional.
To be safe. Don't try to convert someone else into it, and that's not what they're into.
You go to the place where they ask you if you want the happy ending. Like, yeah.
Right. Like you
can't demand a happy ending.
you have millions of dollars, so you can literally have one on that. You can get a porn star to show up and rub you down with some body oil.
How about that?
Like, why are you playing around with these women out here, these strange women? I'm a different kind of millionaire, bro. I want what I want, and I want her. So get her. I'm gonna tell my brothers to go find her. I want her to come here every Sunday. Or no, every Saturday night, 8 o'clock, rub me down and take me down. That's it. She know what she doing. It ain't gonna be no complaints. She getting her money. But everybody else want to turn people. No, don't turn nobody. Get somebody that's true to the game. Get a professional.
And that's the thing. I thought because remember now he's been demanding a trade, right? And so I thought, when the first few stories came out, I was like, man, this is the worst character assassination ever.
It
you
is.
know how teams do when they want to try to get rid of you, these stories start coming out.
Right.
But then this consistency. But that's what has me a little leery that all the
are saying the same thing.
Same attorney.
Right.
Like they're filed by the same. Y'all all hired the
Y'all all go for the same. Nobody goes for the woman.
No.
Ain't there a woman attorney out there that comes for women's rights?
They definitely.
How come she ain't on this?
Yeah,
she know it's all a setup so they can weaken his whole trade situation or tear apart his career, man. Right.
Well, he's got an uphill climb ahead of him there.
Black men stick together, man, and come together. Help this brother out, bro. Seriously.
Oh. And moving on to what I watched this week. I actually saw this HBO documentary about Tina Turner, and what I thought was really well. First off, you know what, watching, a lot of her story has been already recounted in the movie What's Love Got to Do with It. When I used to teach, there was this one student. She came in, she had a blowout just like Tina Turner, and my first instinct was to walk up to her, put my arm around her. I looked and announced to the room, "Hey y'all, they say that Phil Spector want to record a song with Ike and Tina Turner." And the other nine students, 8 of them are looking at me like, huh? And one is laughing because his parents have apparently watched that 12 times like I have. So then there'd be other times like when I'm trying to get somebody to do something that they don't want to do, and I'm looking and I'm saying, "Eat the cake, anime." Eat the cake, anime.
So you see yourself as Ike Turner?
No. No.
I'm just it seems as though you see yourself.
Fantasy.
Your fantasy is to be Ike Turner. And listen, just be honest, bro. It's okay if that's what you into.
But after watching watching the movie is one thing, but watching documentaries I find it more intimate because you're hearing it right from the people that were involved in these experiences and the people that went through with them. So yeah, I'm going to stop quoting.
Please do not quote an abuser, bro.
I'm going to stop.
He was wild.
Man. And that's the thing about being an abuser. You have to drive yourself crazy. So many things come down that are awful are committed by wasting your time, not spending your time in other ways. And being an abuser, you're spending your time, you're driving yourself crazy trying to stay on top of this person, being up their cheeks, wondering where they at, trying to control them, doing these abusive things.
He knew she was fired when you first meet someone of Tina Turner's caliber, even when they're not quite Tina Turner yet, you sense that fire, that desire that she had inside of her, and he tried to bottle it up. Yeah. And he thought fear was the best. No, all he had to do was play his part.
Just play you the background, baby. Play that you the back to the right, play string in the
yes. And then at night
be the front.
And then at night you stuff her full of everything.
Right.
You put her full of everything. Like, here, take all of this. I love you.
Right.
Put your head up there. Look around. See who else been in here. Right. So at the end of the day, that was his job. But he felt like abuse and control could control her, and he had her for a while till she broke off, man. But he had that all wrong.
Oh yeah, because there would be times even when I was a kid, that was when she was going through her "What's Love Got to Do with It" phase, and I would be sitting there like, whoa. And then come to find out, what, she had a career before then, and then you hear like "River Deep, Mountain High," and oh my goodness. What I found was really interesting was that her song, her real big hit and her comeback, "What's Love Got to Do with It," she actually didn't want to do it, and that's a little. Can give you with that in a moment. This was the group. Oh, I gotta wait for. She actually didn't want to do it at first. Much like Run DMC of Run DMC, he didn't want, when he heard Walk This Way, he hated it.
He hated it, right?
Bon Jovi hated Living on a Prayer. And those were those groups, Stairway to Heaven. Those are the songs that put those groups on the map and have made them timeless and played by at weddings and all that. She didn't want to do it at first.
That just goes to show you artists don't always know what the hell they're supposed to do.
Just do your job.
Just do your fucking job and sing. I got you.
This group that originally did it, their name was called Buck Fizz. This is them. Now let's take a moment to talk for a second. Pete, if you notice, in the foreground of the picture, check out my man. He's all muscles and oiled and shaved. Keep in mind, throughout the song, he's popping those pecs with the beat the whole time. The group and the outfit. You know what, though? Go ahead, Pete.
It's up there. Huh? It's up there. It's Tina Turner.
Well, this is before. No, this is the group before her.
That's not Tina Turner?
No. This is Buck Fizz. They actually did the song first, and it was a very.
She looked just like Tina Turner.
Oh, it's a white woman actually. It's a bad picture. I took a picture. I didn't have an actual. I don't know how to.
You were supposed to get a picture of this group.
I don't know how to get a
hell you ain't get it? She looked just like Tina Turner.
From that, with that lighting too. No,
with that lighting and everything.
Yeah.
I can't tell she's white.
Okay, but they did the song before Tina Turner. And that was their performance. So you're checking out there. My man would he'd be flexing like this as the song went on. That was their video to it beforehand. And but it was the 80s after all.
Wow.
But yeah. Right, like what does he add to the song?
Well, he's for the women. He's for the women. He's popping his pecs. He got everything going on. You know. Right.
And they were, Buck Fizz, I forgot to mention, Buck Fizz was an English group. So that's why you probably, the song never came across your radar ever. That brings us to the end of our first block. Coming up in our second block, we're going to talk about carjackings for a minute. Don't forget, as always, the D Train is brought to you in part by Aunt B's Country Kitchen, located at 2300 West 4th Street in Chester. They pride themselves on providing savory comfort food, casual dining, and a hospitable experience that you will never forget. Take out or have an event catered. Either way, when you eat a meal at Aunt B's Country Kitchen, you won't be disappointed. Go to auntbscountryKitchen.com to check out their menu and order, or call 484-474-6779. And when you pick it up, tell them you rode the D Train there. Aunt B's Country Kitchen for food that you'll love.
Passengers, this is not a shoe. This is disorder. This is size 10 chaos.
Tired of being stuck on
The answer! Rumble, rumble, rattle, rattle, it will never die!
700 level attitude, heart of the Italian stallion.
Next story comes to us from Simi Valley in California. This is John Piani. He was arrested Friday on suspicion of dealing narcotics, specifically heroin. And so when investigators heroin and methamphetamines. So they show up to his crib to arrest him. And at the time of his arrest, Piani was operating a drone. So police said when they recovered the remote-controlled aerial device, they found suspected heroin attached to it.
Oh, he was delivering heroin with the drone. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And as a customer, as a man in customer as watching him as a businessman in customer service, I like where his head was at. Right. He's getting his product to the customer quickly and expeditiously.
What? With a drone. Yeah, that's major.
Your heroin is outside, sir.
Yeah. Your heroin's at the door. Just grab it from the drone and put the money in.
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. But will it stop or will it stop? No, no!
It's the D Train with Darren DeVoue.
Oh, I love that one. Such a tonic.
Hi, this is Mayor Mike Nutter. When I want the best in talk radio, I hop on the D Train.
Thank you for joining us here again on the D Train with Darren DeVoue. I am Darren DeVoue and joined behind the glass by, as always, by Uncle P.
Yo.
Not as always with his little daughter Jordan, assistant engineer.
Hey, Jordan, cough in the microphone.
See,
Hey, hello.
yeah, there you go. you heard it, folks. Listening closely, you heard it. The D Train is brought to you, as always, in part by the Browning Group. At the Browning Group, they specialize in criminal and civil investigations, witness statements, surveillance, workers' comp investigations, and security guard services. The Browning Group also provides service of legal documents. Their services are designed to cater to insurance companies, attorneys, businesses, and private individuals. At the Browning Group, each case is conducted with professionalism and expedience, so you receive the best possible service at all times. Call 1-800-939-2978 or go to thebrowninggroup.llc.com and tell them you rode the D Train there. Little side story about the Browning Group. They secure, you can hire them for security services. One time I actually worked for them. This lady, she was hiring the Browning Group to keep an eye on her house. Her and her husband were going through an ugly divorce. And so she wanted the Browning Group to keep her house secured, watching him while he unpacks his things, or packs his things, excuse me. So my man comes in, he's coming in to pack that day. He walks in, there's 3 cats sitting in his house, 2 of them armed. So then he starts, about to get riled up and whatnot. He simmers down for a second. Then one guy leaves. Then it's myself, obviously unarmed. Like, you know me, I'm never packing. And this one Gulf War vet. So we're sitting there. I'm sitting with the guy in the garage, and I'm talking him down. Because I just get him to talking, we're japping. And he says how this whole thing came about. And he and the wife, when they first married, nice house too. Like, he had that thing wired up. Like, you know how you listen into something and speakers all throughout the house. You can change whatever, atmospheric. It was in the cut, and it was beautiful. It looked like a log cabin, but it wasn't made of logs. It was like that plastic kind of stuff. But again, beautiful property. So what happened? Him and the woman are going through problems. She and him go to a counselor. Then they sign. He tells me they sign with a mid-nuptial agreement, which got me to thinking, mid-nuptial? Like, is this halftime for the relationship? Like, what is this? So she hired, they signed a mid-nuptial agreement, and then, she turns around and says that he's not upholding the terms of the mid-nuptial, and therefore then hits him with the divorce statement. Bang, 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 it's all that. And then when he had signed the mid-nuptial, he was so busy trying to go along to get along because he figured this is all going to work out. So he just signed it. I just want us to stay together, honey. She gets the house and everything, and he gets to sit there while strangers are looming over him. So fellas, never sign a mid-nuptial agreement. That's the moral of the story there. And you can hire the Browning Group to secure your services, secure your property for things like that. You also can hire the Browning Group for surveillance. Think your husband's cheating on you? Give them a call. At the Browning Group, give them a call, and they'll secure and process and surveil it all. Our first story in Block 2, last week we mentioned our female carjacker, our pioneer, Shamika Brown Taylor. Did I say? I can't remember if I said it already. Yeah, okay. So last week we mentioned her. This week, and then this happened this past Monday. 2 teenage girls crash a vehicle. 2 teenager girls are facing felony murder charges after carjacking an Uber Eats vehicle with the driver inside and then crashing it, ending in death of the Uber driver. Tuesday's incident was captured on video that is now circulating. The girls, ages 13 to 15, targeted the Washington, D.C. car driven by Mohammed Anwar. The car begins to rev. They tased Anwar and then tried to move on with the vehicle. And this video, it's pretty horrific, too, because you see one girl's in the passenger seat, other girl's in the driver's seat. You see Anwar trying to stuff himself in with the girl in the driver's seat. And the car just pulls off down the street, and then when it rips at a turn, and apparently Anwar got tossed, and the car goes up on his side, as you see. You're hearing Anwar scream, "This is my car," before they pull off. Anwar had immigrated to the U.S. from Pakistan back in 2014, was pronounced dead, and his family has set up a GoFundMe account. These young ladies, though, are in some deep doo-doo because you get that charge, you got the assault charge, the carjacking, felony murder at 15. P's indisposed, so we can't. This is live community radio, folks. Sometimes he had to go off with the baby. Live community radio, folks, in the flesh. We're going to continue with carjacking in a moment, but this block of the D train was brought to you by Common Sense. I try and use common sense wherever I go. Common sense gets me keeps me out of so many bad situations. Also, I've lost my engine. When Pete comes back, I'm like, see, that shows I'm just helpless without you. This block is also brought to you by blankets. It's still that time of year where nothing goes better with an afternoon on the couch than blankets, whether wool, fleece, or knitted blankets. Add that extra layer of comfort and warmth when you're going to Netflix and chill. And during summers, when it's already warm, blankets can make great tapestries around the house. Available at most retailers and crocheting relatives. Blankets. So it's probably diaper change time, looks like, folks. Live community radio. Oh, let me think of a joke. All right, hold on. All right. So Queen Elizabeth and Dolly Parton die and go to heaven at the same time. At the pearly gate, St. Peter says, "Okay, ladies, show me specific quality about yourself and why I should let you into heaven." So for Dolly Parton, that's easy. She whips out her boobs. For Queen Elizabeth, she steps up, she's thinking. She can't think of what to do, so she whips up her skirt and starts douching. St. Peter says, "Well, you can go in." And Dolly Parton loses her stuff because she's outraged. How come she can get to go in? And St. Peter says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but a royal flush beats a pair any day." Oh, yes, P is back.
Yeah, I'm back, bro. Had to run down and get the baby ain't had no milk.
Oh, no. And I said to the audience, I said, when he comes back, I'm going to tell him, I'm helpless without you. We just finished talking about the two girls with the carjacking. And,
so they tried to carjack
he was an Uber Eats delivery driver. Now, see, a lot of times, man, because I do this too on the side. Like a lot of times on weekends, I'll do Uber Eats and I'll Uber. But a lot of times, I pull up and I'll see other guys delivering food, and they leave their keys and they leave the car running, and which is probably too much temptation for these two knuckleheads. But
she wanted her phone out the car though.
There's my phone in that car.
No, these two were trying to carjack him. He got out. He was an Uber Eats driver. Right. They jumped in. He's trying to force his way back into the car. There's one girl in the driver's seat. You were going by this. You were one girl in the driver's seat, one girl in the passenger seat. He's trying to stuff his way on top of the girl in the driver's seat. They peel off, and then the car went on a turn and smashed like that. It went on its side, tossing him, and where he was mortally wounded.
Yeah, he died?
Yeah. He gone.
See, that's why you gotta understand. When people try to carjack you, you deliver for Uber Eats, you let that go. Uber Eats is gonna pay for your new car. Right. They're gonna buy you a new car. They're gonna find your car.
Right.
Yeah, Brad, I'd I'd rather lose my car than my life.
And you know what? That's so mean because both of us are looking at him like, because
big dummy. I'm not calling him a dummy. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that.
No. And you know what though? I'm looking at him because I'm like, yo, I'm looking at our comments here. I'm like, oh wow. But I'm thinking to myself, you should have taken the keys with you always. Not to mention, I'm just cheap like that. I'm killing the engine anyway since I'm not driving. But just take your keys with you. But yeah,
I leave my car running.
You do?
I do. I go in the store, my car running. I go in the market, I leave my car running. Just 2 weeks ago, somebody stole my Macy Alago book bag out of my car because I left the car unlocked and the keys were in the car.
Okay, so
I don't think about theft. You steal it. Listen, I used to steal.
Okay.
I used to do things like that, right? So, you know, if it's my turn, it's my turn.
Okay. All right.
That's
very zen.
That's what the police are here for.
That's very zen of you. Right.
That's what the police are here for. Call the cops. I've left money and things in my car, like a lot of money, and had the car broken into, and the person only stole, it was Christmas. He only stole the stuff that he saw. He stole my phones. He didn't lift it. If he would have lifted up the armrest,
the console, yeah,
$5,000 he would have had. So guess what I did? When I ain't see my phones, I lifted up the armrest. I said, buy new phones. Went straight to T-Mobile, brought new phones. Right? I'm not worried about that.
For the record, P drives a 1972 Monte Carlo.
Right.
Nothing like.
I don't have no car right now. I'm trying to buy one. So anybody selling a Tahoe.
All right. So it's not eligible. Nothing eligible to steal.
Nothing eligible to steal.
All right. But this relates to another carjacking. We're going to stick with carjackings because there was an incident recently where a gentleman, a 14-year-old. Now again, we mentioned just the two girls in the previous story, 15 and 16. Now here we've got a 14-year-old. He was shot by a victim in an attempted carjacking. Philly police say. This comes to us from Fox 29. Police say teens ages 14 and 15 called for a Lyft ride on the 6600 block of North 7th Street, and when the driver arrived, things turned quickly violent. The two attempted to take the 50-year-old man's car. One of the two teens pulled a gun and threatened the Lyft driver, but he had a license to carry and pulled out his own weapon. I guess they literally had a Mexican standoff, huh? Police say the driver shot the 14-year-old suspect in the leg. The 15-year-old stayed at the scene as police arrived. Investigators, you're going to love this part, P. Investigators recovered the gun that the teen used, and it was a BB gun.
It was fake. It was 14. It was 14. Oh, they look real. I remember having a BB gun and running out. I was that 14-year-old, bro. And I think about all the times that could have been me on the other side of a bullet or somebody could have killed me. I thank the creator above, man, like for sparing my life. That's why, don't too many things get me upset, get me rattled.
Okay.
Because I've been in those situations.
Got you. Oh, and that's something, yeah. And they're kids again, but I wasn't, man. I'm too much of a punk to be that. I might have thought about it, man. That'd be cool. And I'd have sat down and wrote a short story about it, but I never had the balls to do it.
I tried to live my life like I wasn't a punk.
Okay.
I tried to be courageous in stupid things.
All right.
Right, and I learned my lesson.
Well, that's one way to learn.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna learn? You gonna learn today?
Either way.
Okay, well, I say, you gonna learn today?
Okay. And continuing with carjackings. Another in this Fox 29 report, again with Fox 29, they probably did a follow-up report after that last story. They're saying carjackings have skyrocketed during the early pandemic. The rate of the carjackings are rising while the age of the suspects are dropping.
Right.
And we've just alluded to that in the past two stories. Carjackings have skyrocketed. This was the fifth carjacking in the past week. The last week, a 17-year-old was charged in a carjacking on Emerson Street in Philly. Sunday, a 14 and 15-year-old, we mentioned just now with the Lyft driver. And investigators believe this could be the work of one carjacking crew from West Philly, who struck almost a dozen times in Northeast Philly. Police say drivers need to be on guard. Delivery drivers should be looking over their shoulders.
If you gonna carjack somebody, carjack an Amazon worker.
Right.
Like, get something for the carjacking. Like, you just jacking cars and you ain't really getting nothing. Then you doing it with a BB gun.
Right. And carjacking, carjacking in general, this got me to thinking, like, cars are in effect. You look around the streets, a lot of times cars are littered. Like, these cars are sitting there. Like, places give cars away a lot of times. Just
Where they at?
hey.
I need a car.
But I won't advertise for them. I haven't gotten a check yet. But is carjacking that lucrative, or are they going to just use it in the commission of other crimes?
So car parts. So when you're 14, 15 years old, unless you're working for a crew, like they're saying, you're not really worried about. You just want a car.
Okay.
You just want to drive.
All right. You're not seeing past the nose on your face.
You're not seeing past the nose on your face. But if you're working for a crew and they're sending you out there, and this is what you're supposed to do, then car parts are expensive.
Okay,
you
so there's a chop shop.
Right, you break down a $30,000 car,
okay,
you're going to get at least $60,000 out of it.
Okay.
Right? Aftermarket.
Okay.
The fender, the bumper, right? All the parts of the car, the engine, the transmission.
But again, like when I drive past all these, like having to deliver, sometimes I deliver to junkyards, and it's just
cars everywhere. Yeah, well, that's how you know you got a lot of money.
Ah, okay. All right.
You know, when somebody call up and say they want a 2021, they crashed their Telluride, their Kia Telluride, you feel me?
Right.
I jacked the Telluride last week. Yeah, I got a bumper for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Paint that joint over, I got you. Yeah. That's that aftermarket, undermarket.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I tell you what though, keep your keys on you, fellas, at all times.
Please.
Unlike some people looking at you, this story comes to us from across the pond in England. A British police officer convicted of membership of a neo-Nazi organization.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this 22-year-old Benjamin Hannum, and he was found guilty on all 5 charges by the jury Thursday. A representative of London Central Criminal Court told CNN. These criminal charges include membership in the banned National Action Group, making a false application to join the police force by not disclosing his membership of said group, and the possession of indecent photographs of a child. Said, yeah.
So he's a part of a neo-Nazi group and he likes little boys.
And he likes, it doesn't say, it says a child. It doesn't say whether it's a boy
It's
or
a little boy.
But yeah, more than likely.
Wow.
The public interest, the public expect officers to carry out their duties with the highest levels of highest honesty and integrity, said Commander Richard Smith of the Met's Counterterrorism Unit in a police release Thursday. Sadly, Police Constable Hannum showed none of these qualities, firstly by joining and engaging with the first prescribed right organization, far right, and then he lied about his past links to this group when applying to become a police officer. Hannum came to the attention of counterterrorism detectives in February of last year during investigations into far-right groups. So you think that investigation into far-right groups is on this side of the pond, EP?
I think it's on both sides.
I think that there are definitely cops in neo-Nazi groups. That's a definite. But you think they're investigating it on this side as aggressively?
No, they're not investigating
as aggressively as they are.
No,
okay.
I don't really think they're investigating it harshly over there. They have that many people. Well, you got to understand that German situation was over there, right? And here it's like, oh, racism. That's a part of America. That's in Atlanta history. That's how we talk about this down south. Yeah. So it's like if you don't like somebody, all right, that's cool. You could be a cop, right? You know, I think that's how it works.
Hannum came to. Police said detectives found a USB memory stick and other digital devices which linked Hannum to far-right groups. A folder on the memory stick was named NA as National Acting and contained files related to him. He also took his involvement offline, attending to meetings of the banned group in a pub in London in March 2016 and various other events. They're banned. The National Action became the first far-right group to be banned under London's terror laws in December of 2016. It is a criminal offense in the UK to be a member of the organization, which has been described by the country's Home Office as virulently racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic. He's going to be sentenced later this month.
Homophobic.
That brings us on to our next story, because a Capitol riot suspect was arrested. And ironically, he was arrested in a "I was there" t-shirt. The t-shirt had Trump on the front, and then it had January 6th, "I was there," when cops showed up to arrest him. This is Garrett Miller. He didn't speak to law enforcement officers when he was arrested on charges of storming the Capitol in January, but the t-shirt he wore was an incriminating message, that's for sure, at his Dallas County home. Miller's shirt, which I said had a photograph, and it also had the quote, "Take America Back," and then "I was there, Washington, D.C., the date. Federal prosecutors, you know when cops pull up and start writing everything down, they were sure when they saw that.
What were you doing there?
Right. Then the questions start rolling there. Yeah.
I mean, you don't really need any questions if you got the shirt on, say he was there. It's like, I ate the 42-pound steak and survived. Like, you really did that? You ate that? Damn. But yeah, he said he was there. I believe him.
On a recorder call immediately after his arrest, Miller told his mother, "I don't feel that I've done anything wrong, and now I'm being locked up." Like more than 300 people facing federal charges in connection with the siege, Miller thoroughly documented and commented on his actions the day of in a flurry of social media posts.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm in the house.
I love how they did that. This one lady, I've seen videos where the one lady was shouting out her name and her occupation, which was, that's certainly eye-catching advertising, but you don't want to do it in the commission of the crime.
They didn't see it as a crime. They didn't see them doing anything wrong.
How about that?
That's why I said that's why we got to start thinking like them.
Right.
Instead of sitting there saying, "Oh man, if that was us, they would have shot us." They shot some people up there. They shot that white lady in the head. She got shot. So I believe, some of us would have got shot, but they couldn't kill us all and be okay with that.
Okay.
That would have been a slaughter. If it would have been 300 black people up there and they would have killed everybody, it would have been over for America.
In a January 10th post on Instagram, Miller said the officer who shot and killed a woman in the crowd of rioters should get a televised execution, according to prosecutors. Mm-hmm. Miller believed the officer was a black man and called him a prize to be taken, prosecutors said. Yeah. Quote, he allegedly wrote, "He will swing. I had a rope in my bag that day." Ooh. Yeah, right.
Carrying ropes again?
Yeah, right.
Trump brought them all out.
Yeah, he inspired that kind of thing, boy.
Well, you saw that in Charlottesville. You knew what that was.
Said prosecutors, by bringing tactical gear, ropes, and potentially, by his own admission, a gun to the Capitol, Miller showed that he was not just being caught up in the frenzy of a crowd, but instead came to D.C. with the intention of disrupting the democratic process of counting and certifying electoral votes.
They really believe that election was stolen?
You'd have to believe, I've been watching Q Into the Storm, and a lot of it is, you're seeing how people one day, it just really happens like that. One day somebody's watching a YouTube video, the next thing there's your grandma's Facebook post is 12 miles off the rails. And they just go down this, there's a part of them, I think, that really wants to believe that, because I don't think that people believe something. In order to believe something, there's a part of commitment.
Right.
I think people make a commitment, okay, I want to believe this.
Right.
And so they've made that commitment to go along with these outrageous theories, and it just sends them down more and more. Yeah. Right. And, for a minute there, I'm sitting there laughing because you're sitting there like, these mofos is so crazy. But then after a while, you're sitting there, you're like, wait, some of these people are my neighbors, right? Like they're not on the screen right now, but they live across. Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, so that's the scary part about it for me. I got something confusing to run down here, but we're great. That continues on. Speaking of ratchet stuff, for those who like ratchet reality TV, a Real Housewives star charged in massive fraud and money laundering scheme. This is Jennifer Shah. She was a star on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, she's a whore. My fault. My fault. I thought I muted the mic. Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah.
She got some big ass titties.
Oh yeah. She's at work done. Oh, yeah, that's a girl. Yeah.
I gotta look them up. I ain't know it was a Real Housewives of
Salt Lake City. I didn't even think that they would think to go there, and here we are. She's facing federal charges. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering in connection with a purported long-running telemarketing scam, according to federal prosecutors this past Tuesday. Shah portrays herself as wealthy and successful business person on the reality show, and Stuart Smith, her first assistant, sold lead lists to innocent individuals for other members of their scheme to reportedly scam. So she would get the attention, people reaching out to her. She forwards these names on to the scammers. In actual reality, as alleged, the so-called business opportunities pushed on the victims by Shah, Smith, and their co-conspirators were just fraudulent schemes motivated by greed to steal victims' money. And this is according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. The NYPD alleged that Shah and Smith have hundreds of victims. According to the indictment against them, their alleged scam ran for almost 9 years, from 2012 until this past month. Prosecutors alleged that Shah and Smith instead ran a complicated scheme to generate lists of potential victims, many over the age of 55, and sell those leads to telemarketing companies that would in turn try to sell business services to victims.
Yeah, she tripping.
You can look at her and see.
She's all the way tripping. I'm sitting here looking her up right now. She got arrested the day they was filming the show.
Yes.
I'm like, did they put that on the show?
And you know the producers, when the cops were in there, like,
it's like, what is going on? Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Like,
oh, the show debuted last November and was renewed in February for a second season.
Yeah, they knew this was going to happen.
Right.
No way the feds didn't call them and say, listen, we're coming for your girl today. Where y'all going to be at?
Hold up. Hold up. Let us get our Jones all ready. Let's make sure she's going to be there. We got it all set up. Yep. During a reunion special last month, Shah tried to explain what exactly she did for a living. After some of her friends said they didn't even understand it themselves. Like, Tommy, you ain't got no job.
You ain't got no job. You always available, but she got the money.
Right. She said, my background is in direct response marketing for about 20 years. So our company does advertising. We have platform that helps people acquire customers. So when you're shopping online or on the internet and something pops up, we have the algorithm behind why you're getting served that ad.
Oh.
I don't know what you're saying.
She like Facebook. So basically, she's saying she like Facebook. You ever look something up on the website and then go to Facebook and it pops up right there on the joint?
Okay.
That's what
how
she's saying.
How about that? Yeah. Because then if you search that thing once, the next thing you know, funny how it keeps popping up
on Facebook.
Ad.
Right.
I think they're listening to the point of there have been times.
No, your phone is that smart where your phone is communicating the message to. Yeah. Right. Oh, they're like, all right, cool. He was looking up rental cars, and then rental cars pop up. And I remember the other day I looked up a lawyer's office, and the lawyer's office I said, I don't want them on, but because I looked it up on my phone, it pops up. I'm glad it doesn't do that with porn.
You ever notice though? I think they're listening because sometimes there's been a couple of times where something I've never Googled before,
right?
And then I'll type in the first 2 letters,
right?
And then. It's like, we know which one, Darren.
Yeah. You know exactly what you want.
We're all up in here already. Right. So when people say the vaccine and chips that'll follow you, they're trying to implant the chips that'll follow you. I'm like, you mean like this?
They already got it.
It's in your pocket, buddy. You're good. Our final story of the second block, my man Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X getting sued by Nike over his Satan shoes with human blood in the soles. I'll give it to this kid. He knows how to make a splash. The Old Town Road artist worked with MSCHF to release Satan shoes on Monday. It coincided with the release of his new song. The sneakers are modified Nike Air Max 97s, decorated with a pentagram pendant and a reference to Luke 10:18, a Bible verse about Satan's fall from heaven. MSCHF, a company known for creating controversial and viral products, confirmed Sunday that the shoes contain a drop of human blood inside the sole. This blood was drawn from members of the MSCHF team. These 666 pairs of the modified Nikes sold for the price of $1,018, and they sold out shortly after they went on sale on Monday. The release of the song coincides with the song Montero, which is the name of the song, Call Me By Your Name, and its accompanying music video. And in the video, I watched the video this morning in preparation for the show.
Motherfuckers made over $500 million on some Nike Airs with some pig blood in them. $677,988.
And isn't that something? And you know those poor little children, those poor little $8 an hour children at Chinese children at the factory, or excuse me, Taiwanese and all kinds of kids that.
Now that was custom made. They ain't make them in Taiwan.
Okay,
right? But maybe they did. I don't know.
Nike
didn't make them.
Okay,
so
yeah, definitely Nike. Yeah, that's what Nike is saying. That's what our children are for.
Right. But they did make the sneakers, so you know where in the sole did the blood go?
Now that's what I can't tell from it, but I'm imagining maybe right here, or I can't. I'm imagining right in that sole there. That it says in the sole, so I mean it drops of it. I mean, has anybody? It doesn't say whether anyone's poked the sole open or not and actually seen this experiment through. I watched the video this morning. It was pretty funny to me. He's giving the devil a lap dance eventually in it. You look, give it to him. He knows how to make a splash.
No.
No.
Well, he's tripping.
Oh yeah. If you watch the video, it has a trippy quality to it, like all the colors and what have you in it. So it's funny that you say he's tripping.
Anyway.
Right. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our second block. As always, the D Train is brought to you in part by the Browning Group. And at the Browning Group, they specialize in criminal and civil investigations, witness statements, surveillance, workers' comp investigations, and security guard service. The Browning Group also provides services of legal documents. Their services are designed to cater to insurance companies, attorneys, businesses, and private individuals. At the Browning Group, each case is conducted with professionalism and expedience, so you receive the best possible service at all times. Call 1-800-939-2978 or go to the Browning Group, LLC, and tell them you rode the D train there. Coming up in our last block, we're going to talk about how a Minnesota Supreme Court overturned a conviction that was at the end of Women's History Month, just to stick it to the women, I think. And how a guy lost his car, got beat out to his car by some bees. We talked about carjacking. This guy's car gets carjacked by bees. You're on the D train with Darren DeVoue. CMP.
Rumble, rumble, rattle, rattle, it will never die!
700 level attitude, heart of the Italian stallion.
Next story comes to us from Simi Valley in California. This is John Piani. He was arrested Friday on suspicion of dealing narcotics, specifically heroin. And so when investigators showed, heroin and methamphetamines. So they show up to his crib to arrest him. And at the time of his arrest, Piani was operating a drone. So police said when they recovered the remote-controlled aerial device, they found suspected heroin attached to it.
he was delivering heroin with the drone. That's awesome.
That is
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And as a customer, as a man in customers appreciate, as watching him as a businessman in customer service, I like where his head was at.
Right.
He's getting his product to the customer quickly and expeditious.
What? With a drone.
With a drone.
Yeah, that's major.
Your heroin is outside, sir.
Yeah. Your heroin's at the door. Just grab it from the drone and put the money in.
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. But will it stop or will it stop? No, no!
It's the D Train with Darren, DeVoue.
Oh, I love that one. Such a tonic.
Hi, this is Mayor Mike Nutter. When I want the best in talk radio, I hop on the D Train.
Yes, and thank you. Welcome back to the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. I, of course, am Darren DeVoue, joined always by the man that makes it happen, whose house that he has built. And
this is our house, bro. This is our house.
Staying
This
in.
is our house.
And you know what? There's going to be more on that to end the show, by the way.
Right.
The D Train, always remember, the D Train is brought to you by the Mad Greek, located on Chichester Avenue in Marcus Hook, PA. The Mad Greek specializes with delicious falafels, gyros, or gyros as we call them.
Baklava.
Damn it, Darren.
Tell him, baby. Baklava.
Oh, yeah, right. That's probably going to be, she'll be able to say it properly before I will at this rate. But the Mad Greek is delicious and fresh as always. I'm going to actually get P to eat some falafel soon.
No.
No? Come on.
Yeah. See, you heard that? Yeah. You heard that? Say no. See, we don't want no falafel.
Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. I'll be like that Homer Simpson. Eat it. Eat it.
Why I order?
Oh, but as always, the D Train is brought to you in part by the Mad Greek, located on Chichester Avenue. I don't have their. Go to the madgreekpa.com to check out their menu and for the number to order. The Mad Greek, delicious and fresh. Our first story, this is a bit of something. The Minnesota Supreme Court overturned a felony rape conviction in a ruling last week because the woman was intoxicated by her own will during the alleged assault. So what happened was, according to the decision, the victim consumed approximately 5 shots of vodka and a prescription narcotic pill before going to a bar in Minneapolis in May of 2017. After being denied access to the bar because of her intoxication, the victim met the suspect, Francois Mumma Khalil, the ruling says. The victim traveled to a house with Khalil where she passed out and woke up to Khalil penetrating her, according to the court's recounting of the victim's testimony. Now, Khalil was originally charged with 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the 3rd degree involving a mentally impaired or physically helpless complainant, for which he was found guilty, according to court records. But he was also charged with, but acquitted of, 3 other sexual felony charges. Minnesota law that governs rape charges when alcohol is concerned, it criminalizes sexual conduct in the 3rd degree as person who penetrates penetrates a person who knows or has no reason that the complainant is mentally incapacitated. Mentally incapacitated meaning that he would have had to have drugged her with the alcohol in order for her to actually be mentally incapacitated. But in Minnesota, apparently the law is, if you find a man you're drunk, then you go ahead
and have at it.
Have at it.
Wow.
What's that? The 3rd shot? Yeah, bitch. You're looking real rapeable now, bitch. Yeah. Like what kind of sick?
No. I say don't trust anybody with 2 different. The first name and the last name don't match. Francois Ali. Like, no, I'm not trusting.
Right.
You're French and Muslim. No, one or the other.
And that's funny because I have a rule regarding names as well. Mine is don't trust a guy with 2 first names.
2 first names.
Yeah. So,
right. Well, Ali could be seen as the first name,
right.
so there it is.
Like some names are first and last names, so they get special consideration in those cases. But for the most part, yeah.
So Jackson.
Yeah. He'll have to go before the committee before he can. Interpret the Supreme Court ruled interpreting the statute of the Minnesota law. That a person under the influence of alcohol, narcotic, anesthetic, or any substance administered to that person without the person's agreement lacks the judgment to give a reasoned consent. But they're saying she could have been, if you can drink, you can consent or not, or you can tell them no. So apparently they're saying you didn't. She wasn't the victim. Like, can you imagine being the victim and having that case overturned like that?
It would be sad. It would be absolutely sad. But and here I am not knowing, even though I got myself to the point, right, of not knowing I had drinks in the bar.
Right.
So that added to my lack of consent. Then I went home with this brother and I passed out and I wake up to him on top of me.
Right.
That's enough right there. Right. So, maybe his name, Francois Ali, say he knows some people. So he must have known somebody. Must have known somebody.
So the interpreting the statute, the Minnesota Supreme Court ruled the legislative definition of mentally incapacitated, as set forth in the law, does not include a person who is voluntarily intoxicated by alcohol. Yeah, how about that? Well, actually, though, this is good. This is kind of good for the fellas because, look, girl, I'd love to buy you, you're nice looking and everything, and I'd love to buy you a drink, but I don't want to imply anything that I'm trying to rape you or get you to that point. So I'm going to save my couple $, and you buy your own drink. Is that okay? Can we do that?
You ain't going to do that.
No.
You going to buy the drink and still with the same hopes. Yeah, I'm going to get a little twisted, and hopefully she go home with me.
Emmy-winning set designer turned hoarder, missing for 8 months, was found dead inside her Queens home under a pile of debris. This is from the New York Daily News. Worst episode of Hoarders ever. The body of Emmy-winning set designer Evelyn Sakash was finally discovered by her sister Tuesday afternoon, and investigators believe she died in an avalanche of the garbage and debris inside of her College Point kitchen around the time she disappeared in late September. Oh. So Sakash, who won a 2003 Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Set, etc., for her work on children's television series Between the Lions. She worked in movies, television, and theater during a long career, but fell into a downward spiral after her mother's death last April, according to a neighbor. Said the neighbor, she became so much more withdrawn and looked sick. I think that's when she started to pick up more hoarding. I went to her house years ago and it was normal. Family friends said on Facebook that cops with K9s searched Sakash's home on 2 occasions over the last few months, but were not able to find her. That's, wow.
Depression is real.
Yeah.
Depression is real, and people they don't know they're going through it. And for her not to have anybody,
right? And that's
right,
what
that would check up on her or would get her the help that she needed, man.
And you know what? There's this lady across the street from me. She was standing there the other day, and she's going through something but I see she's losing her facilities, and so she says she needs help. And I'm walking with her, and she's got me by the hand, and then I'm thinking to myself, geez, man, where are your kids at? I'm sure you got kids that are my age that have to be around. Where are they at right now?
That's why it's important.
And I filed that away. My mother will never ever have this problem.
Right. That's why it's important to uphold your parents. Right. Put your parents. You're living for them.
Right.
They
help.
So it's your responsibility to make sure they die or they go away. Right.
Right.
In a good way.
Right. Dignity and what have you. Yeah, she also worked on Billions and Orange is the New Black. Her death is reminiscent of the city's most infamous hoarders, brothers Homer and Langley Collier. These two were found decomposing in 1947 inside their cluttered home in Harlem, packed with 120 tons of items that they had collected over a decade. It took detectives in this 1947 case, it took them investigators 2 weeks to uncover the second body after the first body was found. That's pretty impressive. Like, how does a floor even stand up after a while? Like the upper, if you're on the second floor.
How much stuff did they have up there?
120 tons of items.
Up on the second floor?
Yeah. In their home. Well, it says in their home.
In their home.
But
I want to say that was downstairs.
Okay.
You know, they had some stuff upstairs, but majority of the stuff was downstairs. That's her house, bro. Right? That's absolutely sad, bro.
Right. And that's what makes those shows like Hoarders and what's that other show? Intervention. Those are horrible. Like, those are gut-wrenching. I knew people that watching them. I'm like, what do you watch this for? This is gut-wrenching, man. You're pretty much watching this family come apart at the seams right here and for us to see on national TV. Oh.
I used to listen to, my ex-wife used to like to watch Intervention.
Okay.
She was like, oh, man, you know. I said, why you like it so much? She was like, I don't know. I just like to see how people get high off heroin. I'm like, oh, let me get you some help.
right. It's something we need to talk about.
We need to talk about this.
Right.
We need to have a couple conversations. But, yeah, to see people deal with traumas in their life and how they cope with it, man, is one thing. It's another thing to block off your traumas and not understand how you cope with your things. You feel me? So, yeah, that's major.
On a lighter note.
A much lighter note.
Yeah, on a much lighter note. If you're allergic to bee stings, you weren't like this next story. About 15,000 bees swarm a man's car in a grocery store lot. The man left his window down, like some people I know, left his window down in his car that was sat at an Albertsons grocery store in Las Cruces, New Mexico, when he returned to his vehicle. Places groceries inside his car, started to drive off. He notices the swarming of bees in the back seat, according to the Las Cruces Fire Department. Off-duty firefighter Jesse Johnson, who in his spare time is a beekeeper, arrived with the proper tools and successfully removed roughly 15,000 bees from the car and relocated them to his property just outside of city limits. You know what? That guy's better than me, because once I'd have saw that many bees in the car like that, I'd have just tossed the title to them and just walked away. Like, that's that. Like,
you a punk. You scared of bees?
Yeah.
You scared of bees?
Yeah.
It's just a little sting.
Yeah, it hurt. But that many?
Like, not all of them are going to sting you, because after they sting you, they die.
Right.
So
right, that's the last resort.
Right, it's a last resort. So if you're not trying to hurt them and you're just walking through them, they might not bother you.
Okay. That's very optimistic of you, Pete.
Yeah, you have to have optimism, bro. Can't be a pessimist all the day.
And you know what? That brings us to our next story, which is a little more optimistic. Here's a follow-up to a story we ran last week, following this is the penny repayment, the petty penny payment of last week. Andres Flatten, his former employee, dumped off at least 90,000 greased pennies in his driveway as a form of payment to the auto shop. Now, remember, that was to give him his final check of $915 that Flatten had been having trouble collecting from his former employer. Coinstar heard about his predicament, and they picked up Flatten's coins on Thursday and rounded the amount up to $1,000 and cut him a check there.
Wow.
So they cleaned it up, and he made $85.
And he made $85.
Nice.
Right.
That's a little ray of sunshine today.
I don't know what they do with what Coinstar does with all the coins, but
they have to be sifted.
They're making something off the coins.
Right. There's, maybe we need to get a job there and find out how the sausage is made real quick.
Right.
Go undercover.
Because why would you go and do that?
Right.
Why would you take those coins? All those pennies.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Because I never even thought about that before.
Right.
Like, I've been so happy to dump the damn coins. I never.
I used to have I still have a coin jar, and as soon as it get a little bit halfway, I know that's at least $50. I'm gonna go trade that in.
Okay.
Right. You know.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, and wow, we're up to our final story already. Our last story is about something that is truly unique. This comes to us from the New York Post. Triphalia. You ever heard that word, P? Triphalia.
Triphalia?
Triphalia, yes. That describes a young boy, Iraqi boy, who was born with 3 penises.
What?
Yeah, aren't you a little jealous? No, I'm just kidding.
I feel sorry for it.
I know, right? This Iraqi child occurred from DeVoue is making history after he was born with 3 penises. His parents brought him to the hospital when he was 3 months old due to swelling in his scrotum. But when doctors examined him, he had something extra, namely a 2-centimeter member sprouting near the root of his primary penis. And yet another 1 centimeter long stub under his sac. Said Dr. Shakir Salim Jabali. Now those are 3 names that all go together, so he's okay with P. Said Dr. Jabali, to the best of our knowledge, this is the first reported case with 3 penises, or triphalia. Study published in the International Journal of Surgery Case Reports. The trio of penises is mysterious, given the child hadn't been exposed to drugs while in the womb and didn't have a family history of genetic aberrations. Doctors have linked the phallic deformity to other congenital aberrations, such as being born with 2 scrotums or anuses, which I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that could be a thing too. Like, whoa, oof. Coming into this world a little with some baggage. He was supposed
to be twins?
I don't, yeah, how about that? At what point did this happen? Was he supposed to be triplets and he just took over the whole?
Yeah, this is all my stuff.
Yeah, like.
Get some penises from me.
Wow. Yeah.
He probably was in there. I'm going to have the world's biggest. I'm eating both of my brothers.
Now, see, I wonder if, because if you're wondering, folks, 2 of the babies, the 2 extra penises, didn't have urethras, and so doctors opted to surgically remove them. And
so, if he had urethras, he would have been wide, bro. 3 urethras down there for 3 penises, like that's crazy.
That's a bit. Oh. I was about to go somewhere.
So that's 3 sets of balls. That's
right. He could have, but like you said, it could have started off as 3. What if he started off as 3 kids?
Right. I'm thinking that's how it worked.
Okay. Like, oh man, like in the Dark Half that Stephen King.
I'm gonna have the world's biggest.
Watch this kid, y'all. Keep an eye on him. Oh, but you know what? What if he grows up and he finds this out? Like, what? I had 3.
And y'all cut him off?
Right, exactly. He's going to be pissed. That's my thinking. I'm wondering.
Y'all cut him off?
I'm wondering.
You were supposed to let me have them. Oh, man.
With that brings...
That's a toy, ain't it? That's a sex toy, ain't it? 3 penises?
Actually, you know what it is? He would have had a career in being a cast for a sex toy.
So check this out, right? No pun intended. In 2020, they have 3 penis wine.
Huh.
Right?
He would have been their spokesperson. He would have kept this, my man, the kid, if he wouldn't see the grown up.
There's 3 penises, although it looks like every other bottle in the liquor aisle. This bottle is a rice wine and contains seal penis, deer penis, and dog penis.
Oh wow, they seriously. It wasn't just a moniker.
No,
they seriously are about.
They're about their penises.
Or is it peni? In that sense, like the
I'm gonna just say penis.
All right.
A Cantonese dog penis, deer penis, and seal penis.
Damn, those poor animals.
Those poor animals.
Oh, just so people can drink wine.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on the 3. Now maybe 2 penises, I can deal with that a little better, but not 3. With that brings us to the end of this week's run of the D Train. As always, the D Train is brought to you in part by the Mad Greek, located on Chichester Avenue in Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania. The Mad Greek has tons of delicious Mediterranean and American street food, fresh, delicious, best baklava. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna when you see me next week, folks, I'm gonna have that tattooed on my forehead. The best baklava that I've ever had, and I've been eating baklava for Did I say it?
Yep.
Nailed it. First try. I've been eating baklava for years. Did it again. Go to madgreekpa.com to order and check out their menu. And when you get there, tell them you rode the D train there. Also, don't forget our other sponsors, On B's Country Kitchen for food that you'll love. And the Browning Group, LLC.com. The Browning Group, they'll give them a call. They'll secure, surveil, and process it all. That does it for the show, P. P, thanks for joining me. Happy Easter again, folks.
Yeah. Happy Easter.
Thanks for joining us, Jordan.
No, Easter isn't what it used to be.
How about that? Because look at me. I've got my poor pandemic look right here. No shade. Got the hoodie on. I've got the pandemic uniform. And yeah.
Beating me up.
And yeah. Don't forget next week. Oh, folks, I forget to mention. Oh, wait. Before we go, P, wait a second. You know what, folks, if you haven't known, again, this is cmpradio.net. This is a community station, all right? A lot of what we do here, this is provided by P, and they provide a space for you to be creative. That's how you're able to see my fine mess of a show right here every week to start your week off right. But if you have time, for those of you in the Chester area, if you have the time, even a half hour or so to come by, there are times where P could use your assistance. Filming games, if you're sitting there at the Chester game, if you have rather than try and trash my man on social media, get up there and make a suggestion, or make
somebody trash me on social media.
No, easy, Tiger, easy. But I mean, you guys were talking on the morning meeting, and that was the impression that I got when you guys were talking about criticism, unfair criticism.
I love constructive criticism. Okay. If you are constructing something, if you're just tearing things down just because that's what you're used to happening to you, I don't need that.
Okay.
Right? So, but constructive criticism is something that, the station, we thrive upon constructive criticism, because we are a community radio station. Never before has this been done and stayed open as long as, like, this has been rocking out for 3 years, going on 4 years. It'll be 4 years this September. So the things that we do here at the radio station, we need the community. We need the people to be involved. We need the people to want to talk, right? Ain't that right, baby? Right. Communication is key, bro. Can't have anything without communication.
Indeed. And, like I said, this is my, I don't get paid for this, but this is a great creative outlet that allows me to keep my head sane and not go postal on people when I'm delivering packages. And P, it's a great thing for the community as well, because one, the community is more informed and more encouraged, and this could be a great race. This is a great resource. I'm just really happy to have been. I guess I'm about to get verklempt on you, man. I'm just really happy to be here, not only in this town. Love this town. It's giving me some interesting stories already, by the way. But also in this space here. This is a great thing, and I think that if you folks can make some, because you hear me talk about time and seeing how others can, instead of doing something more heinous, use your time more peacefully, productively, and positively, which will lead you to P and cmpradio.net. With that, thanks again for joining us, folks. Happy Easter, and we'll see you next week. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. Thanks again, as always, to Uncle P and to this week's co-assistant engineer, Jordan, for engineering, and we'll see you next week, folks. Thanks again. I need to get an
Passengers, this is not a shoe. This is disorder. This is size 10 chaos.